to move over to our featured panel today, Leveling the Playing Field in Sports and Entertainment. And we have some amazing guests here today. We've got John Emery, Constance, Beverley, and Ashley Caldwell. And they're going to tell us how Alpine-X wants to make snow sports a shared experience for the entire community. And as you know, John Emery is the CEO of Alpine-X. Constance Beverley is the CEO of the Share Winter Foundation, and four-time Olympian, Olympic gold medalist and world champion skier Ashley Caldwell also is joining us. Thank you so much for joining us, guys.
Thanks, Chitra. We're glad to be here.
Great. And, you know, I have to say, as a Fairfax County resident, as a Virginian who has raised two kids and looked for snow everywhere and found very little of it, I'm really excited about this venture of yours. And John, I'd love to have you open by telling us how you came up with the idea.
Sure. The original idea was really based on trying to take the exclusivity out of snow sports. I mean, historically, for many, many families in the U.S., including mine growing up, the geographic, but more importantly, the economic exclusivity of snow sports it's a brutal barrier to get over. As a result, I think the U.S. has something like 13 million people active in snow sports right now, which is a tiny, tiny fraction of the population. So we were developing a business model to build year-round snow sports resorts. These are basically giant indoor snow domes, 350,000+ square feet, attached to hotels, restaurants, meeting space, kind of a full resort experience built around the snow sports experience. Very simply, what we're doing is placing them where people live to eliminate the geographic challenges of getting to ski areas. And we're making it a much more affordable experience. Because we'll be open every day and very close to where people live, we don't have the seasonality issues that outdoor resorts have. So we can accommodate the entire community in the design of our facility and make it super affordable to get anybody in, regardless of their economic status in the community. That model, what we found along the way is a couple of my panelists, Constance is already doing an amazing job with the outdoor resorts of expanding access to snow sports. And Ashley is a great example. Having been born in Virginia, we don't have too many Virginia-born, I'm in Virginia as well, by the way, we don't have too many Virginia-born gold medal Olympic skiers at the moment. So our goal is really to, as you said early on, democratize the ability, and not just recreationally, but our facilities are built not just to train and provide experiences recreationally, but to be able to train Olympic level athletes in their off seasons. So provide facilities with enough challenging the slopes indoors to create training for all types of snow sports athletes when the seasonal resorts in the US don't have snow.
Awesome. Constance, you've been involved in this effort to level the playing field, as we said at the open, to everybody that is interested in winter sports. Tell us a little bit about how you got involved with the Share Winter Foundation and how you connected with Alpine-X and John and his team.
Yeah, well, the Share Winter Foundation is working to eliminate the barriers that have prevented many communities, many families, and a lot of youth from engaging in skiing and riding. If you look at national data, travel, expense, not having anyone to go with, all of these things are the top reasons why youth and families are not choosing to ski or ride. So what we established is a fund that was actually built off of a model similar to tech incubators of how we could work with community-based programs to fund them, create logistical plans that make things a little bit easier and less intimidating to families, and engage the community on a community organizing level. And where that comes in contact with Alpine-X is we are geographically restricted. We can't afford to be putting kids on planes. And when we look at our goals of increasing diversity and having participation that reflects accurately the population of the United States, we kind of need to bring the mountains to the people, which is what Alpine-X is doing, and other, opportunities abounding where we could have lots and lots of kids with relatively short close access to the slopes is something that will help us on our mission to get more people out there.
And Ashley, you're a four-time Olympian and gold medalist from Ashburn, Virginia. How did you first get interested in winter sports and freestyle skiing living in Virginia? And what was your personal experience then taking that to the next level and getting on the slopes?
Hi, yes, it is pretty unique when I say that I'm from Virginia and a freestyle skiing gold medalist. It's always a little shocking for everyone. I grew up, I started gymnastics when I was 3, and I started skiing when I was 3. And that's because my dad had a huge passion for skiing. And I remember, taking the long rides early in the morning, late at night, to finding and searching for snow. And that was because my father had a huge passion for skiing and we had to go hunt for it. And I feel very fortunate that I had family that wanted to get involved in skiing and snow sports. And then even further, parents that were encouraging of their, at the time, 13, 14-year-old daughter to move away from home and pursue high-level sport. I actually saw freestyle skiing on the Olympics in 2006, and my parents thought I should merge my skiing talents with my acrobatic talents to start freestyle skiing. So I moved out of the house at 13, 14 years old, and I feel pretty lucky that I was able to do that. But that's a huge endeavor for families to undertake, and it was a big sacrifice. I had to start online school and, move 1,000 miles away to pursue this sport that I loved. And my parents had to miss their 13-year-old daughter for a while. So I love this, this model of bringing snow sports to people because I could have stayed at home and still become a freestyle Olympic gold medalist and didn't have to have that huge life undertaking.
That's amazing. And it's also the sheer logistics of lugging all the stuff, right? And it's just an extraordinary endeavor. And so I just think that there's such a great fundamental need around this. Constance, what's been your experience with programs like this? And, what's your success level been so far?
So where we're able to eliminate the common barriers, our return rate is incredibly high. And also in overall diversifying the population, the participant pool that we are currently funding is roughly the same as the population based on the last US Census, which is vastly, vastly different from the overall population of skiers and riders, which is still about 98% white and upper middle class and still predominantly male. So where we found is that when we've demystified things and made things a little more turnkey and a little friendlier, and we're able to get rid of the cost factor through funding and through strategic partnerships, that the success rate is really, really high. So we've actually pioneered some indoor programs, which means that we have more time to get kids on snow. The parents that have the economy of time factor, if you want to go ride for an hour, that's not possible if you live 3 hours from a ski area and you need to have a charter bus and a team. So we've seen that as soon as those common factors that the industry have identified are removed, the success rate just multiplies.
John, you're a veteran of the hospitality industry, the former CEO of Great Wolf Resorts. What do you think has been the biggest challenge for you in taking this idea and putting it into action?
I mean, the challenge is actually similar to the early days at Great Wolf Resorts, where we're developing something in the US that has not been done here. There are over 100 indoor ski facilities around the world, but they tend to work better with populations where there's a higher percentage of people that already participate. Here, we're taking that Great Wolf experience of really creating many, many activities so that groups of families, groups of friends can come have a shared experience at an Alpine-X resort, but they don't all have to ski or ride. Not everybody wants to develop that skill. So by having lots of no-skill activities or low-skill activities, we can create these great shared bonding experiences. The other piece of it is coming out of the hospitality industry. Almost by definition, resorts are exclusive economically, just by nature, distance, cost. From a looking back standpoint, our team, we love the social mission that goes along with Alpine, but what's funny is it actually is exactly the same as our business model. My business model doesn't work if I just focus on a higher economic segment of the population. We need the entire community to be able to have great experience with us, regardless of their budget. And that allows us to have a more comprehensive business model, and fortunately doubles up by creating this great social mission of inclusiveness in a sport that traditionally has not been terribly inclusive.
And when do you plan to launch? And what's your ask today, if any, of our group here today?
Yeah, I mean, today's great kind of awareness. We don't have a specific raise going on, but we're always searching for partners that would like to be part of what we do, whether it's economically, from an experience background. We're team builders. I am not a team of one in developing Alpine. There's a huge team affiliated with this, and we're always looking to expand that. So we're interested in investors who would like to discuss being part of that forward mission. In terms of start dates, recessions, ironically, can be good for what we're doing. The best deals I've done in the depths of a recession. So we're kind of lining things up to be able to purchase. These are very expensive to construct. Perfect timing for us is to launch when the cost of construction has come down a bit from the crazy run up that it had over the last couple of years. And we launch with a more effective cost model, and we go from there. So we would expect to be actually breaking ground as you see kind of the construction economy stabilize a bit and begin to pick back up.
Awesome, great. Constance and Ashley, real quickly, if you have a minute, just a closing thought from each of you, starting with you, Ashley.
Yeah, I think from my perspective this is incredible, because there are so many talented athletes around the country that if they had access to snow sports would be at the top of the podium as well. So I think this is really incredible, and it really opens the door for the talent pool of professional athletes, and increasing the passion for snow sports around the country.
Great. Constance, you get the last word.
Oh, wow. My favorite. I think what's really interesting in this endeavor is that we're seeing innovation and social impact and change being held to the same standards, and it being cohesive parts of a business model, which I think in the ski industry, we're trying to correct a lot of things that occurred because that was not how it was built. And I think for all of the entrepreneurs here who are building new products and innovation, the idea of thinking about the impact of what you have and how you can galvanize and improve your community using the technology or the idea that you have is really what's going to change the world. So keep up the good work, everyone.
Awesome. Well, John, Constance, Ashley, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Chitra.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
And for those of you in the audience, don't forget to fill out the